Hello everybody, Chuck Holler. It's February 11th, 2014. Okay, well, it's cold here in Illinois. Woke up at 4:15 this morning and it was minus 10 degrees. Brr. And, well, the good news is that there was no wind whatsoever, so it felt like minus 10 degrees. Isn't that good news? Unlike tonight, it's going to warm up to a Bury -1 with some wind, giving us a minus 15 to minus 25 wind chill factor. So I'm going to peel an orange while I talk here, so bear with me, folks. Now, Comet ISON. Oh, don't tell me that you've heard enough. There is still something else to say about it. You know, it's a funny thing about Comet ISON. Comet ISON, the comet of the century that never was. I never got to see it. Most people didn't get to see it unless you had a good telescope, or you tapped into some of the different universities, NASA.gov, that type of stuff. And then it just never appeared to be what it was supposed to be. Yet everybody knows about it. Now on Hanukkah, there were 7 comets that God put in the sky that made it a menorah, and I bet you, I'm not a gambling man, but most of you couldn't name 2 or 3 other comets besides ISON. Yet everyone can name Comet ISON. It was a sign, and it was put in the sky, as the scriptures say, lights put in the sky for signs, for times. Now, we've got the 4 blood red Moon Tetrads nipping at our heels. April 4th, I believe, is going to be, let me take a look here, April 15th, tax day. Oh, how about that? Okay, that's going to be Passover. Then October 8th, Tabernacles. October 4th next year, 2015, is the 3rd one. September 28th, 2015 is Tabernacles. Now, I'm going to try to wrap everything up in this short 14-minute video. 2 disclaimers real quick. First of all, not a prophet, I'm a teacher. So I'm going to teach some things that come out of the scriptures today, and I thank Mathman from Doves for pointing this out. A prophet teaches things that are not in the scriptures. So then when it doesn't happen, he is a false prophet. And when it does happen, we sing his praises. A teacher who teaches out of the scriptures, when it doesn't happen, he just got it wrong. That's all. He just interpreted it wrong. He's not a false prophet. So I never claimed to be a prophet. I'm not a prophet. I do try to teach, though, from what I know. Now, the other disclaimer I'd like to put out there is I'm going to use a lot of astrological terms. I'm not into astrology. That's of the devil. Astronomy is of God. Here's the difference. God wrote the gospel in the stars. When the message is for you personally, as in astrology, it's from the enemy. When it's for all of mankind, it's from the Father. It's from heaven. When he put a rainbow in the sky, that was a sign that he would never destroy the world by water again. The Star of Bethlehem was a sign that his son was coming. ISON was a sign. A sign of what? Well, I'm going to tell you what it's a sign of. It's a sign of the second coming, of the rapture. Now, I'm not going to talk about post-trib, pre-trib, mid-trib, pan-trib, pre-rap trib, all the different. As Fire Charger said a couple days ago, I loved his video. It's an unfruitful debate. It serves the body of Christ nothing to debate the timing of the rapture. You know, I wrote an article on Doves a few days ago about a fleece I put out 10 years of Lord, when the date is here, let a hawk land outside my window, let my mother see it. Here, 10 years later, it happened last week. This hawk, I live in the city, shouldn't be no hawks in the city. It landed. My mother, 74 years old, happened to be here. couldn't stop her from walking outside in a polar vortex to take pictures of this hawk because she knew about the fleece that I had put out over 10 years ago, and it happened. But all of a sudden, the date didn't matter because I just know he's coming. Now, a lot of people say no man knows the day or the hour. I'm not in that camp. I believe that we can know the day or the hour, which is why I've been looking all these years. Well, I believe that the scriptures that talk about, and this is a video for another day, folks, that no man knows the day or the hour is referring to the end of the age, the end of the earth. I don't believe it has to do with the rapture, and we need to be careful when we try to say things like it has to do with the rapture, because you're adding to the scriptures at this point. We got to be careful about adding to the scriptures. Revelation gives a serious warning about that. So let's be careful, folks. There are too many other scriptures that say he'll come like a thief in the night, but you, my children, are not of the night. You're of the day. You'll know when he's coming. Revelation, that's in Thessalonians, Revelation 3:3. If you don't watch, I'll come like a thief. What he's saying is that if you watch, he won't come like a thief. So, folks, watch. Well, what do you watch for? Watch for the signs. There's two things. He said he would put signs in the sky, lights, and that we're to watch Israel. And he even tied those two together. And I'm going to try to remind some people of why we are watching. For 2,000 years, people would read the Bible, and they would come across the part that talked about the regathering of Israel as a nation, and they thought that that might be metaphorically, that it might be the church is the new Israel. No one ever dreamed in a million years that Israel would become a nation again. And there was a prophecy in Matthew 24 that Jesus, he said that the generation that saw this happen would see everything come to completion, including the second coming of Christ. Now, how long is a generation? Probably 70 years. I don't think he was talking about babies. I think he was, if you're 8, 9, 10 years old, you remember things. So I think he's talking about people who were born in 36, 38. By the time 48 came around, they at least saw Israel become a nation. I myself wasn't born to 60 yet. I can look back and see. Now, there were signs in the skies that heralded that, and it was called the 4 blood red moon tetrads. I put my first video out about this in 2008, almost 5 years ago, and just this year, Pastor John Hagee wrote a book about it. It's in the New York best sellers. It's on Fox News. They're all talking about it because we're 9 weeks away from this happening, the first blood red tetrad. It's a very rare event. There's only been 7 of them. Now, there's only been 3 in the last 500 years. There'll not be another one for somewhere between 500 and 700 years. I'm not sure on the figure. I know it's at least 500 years. I'm thinking it's 7. But the 3 in the last 500 years, 1492, when Queen Isabella kicked all the Jews out of Spain, and then you had to wait almost 500 years to 1948, and then Israel became a nation in 1967. The nation was 19 years old. The Lord said, watch Israel, watch the fig tree, and when it buds its leaves. So 19 years old, Israel budded leaves. Those leaves were the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, the Golan Heights, and East Jerusalem. Folks, that turned the prophecy world upside down, because those signs that they thought were metaphorically now were real. Now here we have comets in the sky making menorahs on Hanukkahs that will never happen again. Comet ISON, that I believe is Wormwood. In Revelation 8 it said there's a comet that strikes the sea like a burning mountain, and it does a lot of damage. But then it said there's one that burns like a lamp, and its name is Wormwood, and it falls on 1/3 of the rivers, creeks, and oceans. Well, how can a comet or an asteroid or meteorite fall on 1/3 of all the waters? It can't. But what's Wormwood doing? What is this comet doing? What the scientists at NASA said was that the debris field we went through, the dust field was so minute, micron-sized particles, 2 to 4 microns, that they were going to rest on top of our stratosphere instead of burning up like we see shooting stars when small meteorites come all the way through, and in our atmosphere, when they're falling, they burn up. It said these would rest up there, and it would take several months, maybe a year. They don't know. But our entire planet would be dusted by those. Once again, folks, it looks like wormwood. And ISON translated into wormwood in the Greek and the Hebrew. So, folks, I'm pretty sure it's wormwood. But you say, well, we went through the debris field and nothing happened. Oh, don't become weary in well-doing, folks, please. You know, I saw Ben-Hur over the holidays, and I've seen it many times, and I never noticed this one section. This old fella comes up to Charlton Heston, and he says, it finally happened. It came true. 33 years I waited. I think he was one of the shepherds. He says, you know, I saw that baby in a manger, and now today I saw him as a man. You know, Joseph was sold into slavery. It was 25 years before he rose up. God doesn't do things. You know, we're a now generation. We want everything now. I mean, we don't, we want a cheeseburger now. We don't even want to wait 20 minutes to go into a restaurant. Matter of fact, we don't want to get out of a car. We want to go through a drive-up. This is the now generation. God help us. They talk about, as in the days of Noah, eating and drinking. The whole planet is eating and drinking right now. No matter almost where you live in this planet, you can't get a good meal somewhere. I mean, we talk about starving children in China. Not anymore. Africa, yeah, there's still some drought-stricken places, but most of the civilized world takes care of that. I'm trying to cram it all in 15 minutes, so I'm excited, talking a little bit fast, so bear with me, folks. So his timing, you know, he said a generation, 70 years, and now here at the end of the 70 years, it's 66 years we're coming up on, and we see all these signs happening. Folks, come on. You know, when the hawk landed in the tree last week, I all of a sudden realized that after 10 years, I really didn't care the exact date anymore, because I just knew so much in my spirit that we're at the time. This is the time. And people who have nothing to do with Christ, they know something's going on. Even Hollywood has put out so many apocalyptic type movies. It's just makes you sit back and laugh, because they know that something is up. Now, how's it all going to turn out? I don't know. You know, they didn't know how it was going to turn out the first time. They thought he was going to come as a conquering king to take Rome out. Well, he came as a lamb. But this time he is coming as that conquering king, folks. And you want to be on his side. So, there's a new comet coming. It's called Sighting Spring. And in October, it's going to come so close to Mars, folks, that it might hit it like Comet Levi Shoemaker did with Jupiter. The difference is that Mars is not as large as Jupiter. I'm not sure if a direct impact it could take that kind of a strike. What they're saying is that the coma will engulf the entire planet and both of its moons. Mars has 2 moons. Now, that's the 4th planet out, so that's, you know, on its way. It hits Mars before it comes past us. So, and ISON just illuminated Mars with a green when the comet came by it. So, this is the big brother, and it's called Sighting Spring. Now, we're not sure how big ISON was. Bigger in legend than anything. But they said 3.5 kilometers or miles. They're saying this is 31 miles, 10 times larger than ISON, coming on a Jewish holiday. Of course it is. Is there any doubt? So, folks, you know, his timing is not our timing. Please understand that, you know, this is the last generation. This is the final generation. And get your house in order, folks. Oh, my goodness. If you're not serving Christ, please say the sinner's prayer and ask him to come into your heart and forgive you for your sins, and go tell somebody about it. And if you are a Christian, tune it up, folks. Forgive people. Love people. Tune up the program. Don't be one of the foolish virgins. You know, there was 10 virgins in Revelation. 5 of them were foolish, you know, but they were all virgins. But 5 of them didn't have enough oil in their lamp. Would they need oil in their lamp? so they could watch. Can't see in the dark. Were commanded to watch. He was mad at the people when he was here. How can you look at the sky and tell when there's a storm coming, yet you can't look at the signs of the times? And they were a lot harder to read than they are now. I guess he figured he'd spell it out for us in a little bit more detail. Folks, I gotta go. It's my 15 minutes is up. So God bless you. Get your house in order. And I'll just give you the fruit of my labor here. Hey, okay. God bless you. Bye.